Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
As we pop down to Paikakiriki Village and say good morning to Janet Holborow, our Ward Councillor, Paikakiriki Romati, and of course our Deputy Mayor. Good morning, Janet.
Good morning, Nigel.
Welcome to the program today. Now, speed limits, you've got a bit of a problem in the village and on State Highway 1, have you?
Well, I don't think it's a particular problem. I think it's just a matter of things getting busier, and the transmission gully works. I've just become a little bit concerned. A couple of times I've seen particularly heavy vehicles starting to ignore our 70 kilometre an hour speed limit outside the village. And I've also had a conversation with somebody who lives at what we call the commune, little collection of houses on State Highway 1. Now, they've all got road cones that they keep in case of an accident, and I've noticed that the pedestrian traffic going along the side of State Highway 1, particularly small children, has increased since we put in Betty Perkins Way, and some new families moving in there too. So I'm a bit concerned personally that the traffic is moving a little bit fast outside there. And I'd really like to see the 70 kilometre an hour us revisit, which is something I've banged on about for years, revisit the 70 kilometre an hour speed limit and extend that out to where the 80 kilometre an hour limit is at the moment. Now, we were going to have that, and then the reason that we weren't, as I remember it, is that there was going to be some reduction in speed limit anyway through there during the period of transmission gully works, and the period that we're in now where heavy traffic is coming in and out. But I haven't seen any indication so far that the speed limit is going down, so I'll be getting hold of them, and at our next community board meeting on the 12th of December, I'll be wanting them to have a little bit of a chat about safety around the works and a bit further south, and what the plans are for the changes in speed limit, because the revocation doesn't happen until 2020 or after the project's finished, and if the current revocation is anything to go by, it'll be a little while after that too. So in the meantime, we've got heavier and heavier volumes of traffic travelling through that area, and at higher and higher speeds, it seems. So something that I'm wanting to talk about.
So it's mainly heavy vehicles, or is it cars as well?
It's cars as well.
Yeah.
Cars are on the whole, everything's pretty good, and people are really considerate coming through there. They'll often flash their lights and let you go into the village, and in general, it's pretty good. It's just, it only takes that odd speeding vehicle, whether that's a car or a truck, and a little child on the side of the road, and all of a sudden you've got a tragedy on your hands, and we certainly don't want that.
No, and
it's just something that I think we need to deal with as a matter of urgency, actually.
I noticed quite a few more cyclists around there too, and those who are cyclists and those who are cycling to and from their work sort of thing happening on that particular part of the road as well. Have you noticed that?
Yes, and they've finished the cycleway along where the works are, which has been a conversation we've been having as well. But along that stretch, yes, they do ride along State Highway 1, so another reason to have that speed limit a little bit lower. Right. And it just makes sense in terms of consistency, to have just the whole section along there, 70. I mean, it's been shown that the less changes in speed limit you have, the more likely people are to be compliant.
Sure.
So that would help compliance within the 70, and it would also slow people down for that extra little stretch, which is apparently a very badly engineered and cambered corner as well. So, but just from all points of view, it just makes perfect sense to me to have it a little bit slower along there.
So you're having You're having the transmission gully people come to your next meeting, aren't you?
Yes, we are, yeah. So we'll be getting hold of them and letting them know that we want to have that conversation. But it's also a wider conversation with NZTA, because some of the area that I'm talking about is outside the area where the transmission gully works are happening. It's just slightly further south.
Good. Now, St. Peter's going to be celebrating something special next year, are they?
Yes, it's the centenary of the hall, so plans are underway. Francis Mills, who's been organising some gigs down there and a very well-known local musician, he's taken the mantle, and he's going to be coordinating what's turning out to be a week of activities, starting with a parade on the 1st of April, And then there'll be a beer festival, apparently, on the 8th of April, and then something happening every day in the hall in between. So that'll just be an amazing, amazing week, and just such a big milestone for the village.
And the hall itself, how much more work have you got to do on that? It seems to be continuing on and on and on. Is there lots more to be done?
Yeah, how long is a piece of string?
Right.
So the kitchen's been done, the stage has been done. There's now a proper lighting system in there. The projector, there's a screen, the kitchen, the seating has been improved, the lighting, the heating. So it's an enormous amount of work that's been done, and that was after it had to be kind of structurally strengthened because there was quite a lot of rot, particularly in I believe, the southern wall. So there was a lot of work that had to be done before any of that stuff that you see too. So it's just a massive amount of work that's been done. I think the next thing to do that's in the pipeline is the downstairs area where the bike library is now.
Yes.
I mean, it's fine for a bike library, but there is the possibility of having that as a community space or a bit better set up for the bike library. It's a bit uncertain at the moment, but I think that's the next thing that needs to be done.
Good. Now, there was a trust being set up to buy houses, etc. How's that going, Janet?
That's going extremely well. Their first fundraising drive, I don't know the figure exactly, but there's a huge amount of money that's already been committed into that trust. And just going forward, I guess identifying priorities. I haven't heard a report back. There's a trust that's been set up now with various members of the community, young people as well on that trust. So I haven't heard a report back about what their immediate plans are, but I believe they were talking about some priorities in terms of how to allocate those funds.
Yeah, sure. All right, so your next meeting is the 12th of December.
Yep, we're expecting an update from Transmission Gully and also a little bit of a chat about State Highway 1 revocation.
Lovely. All right, Janet, well, thanks very much. Are there any activities in St. Peter's this weekend? Usually there are. I actually haven't caught up with anything that's happening this weekend. Yeah, so that's a bit unusual, but not to say there isn't. You can always look up the calendar, and that's St. Peter's calendar, and there's it usually says in some detail who's booked the hall, so that's one way to catch up with that. You can also just search St. Peter's in Event Finder. Most gigs down there are now putting themselves up on Event Finder. So that's another way to catch up with what's going on. Thanks for your time, Janet. Have a good week.
106.3 Beach FM.